What's up, everyone? My name is Turk. Before we get into the podcast, I need to let you guys know that we had a couple of hiccups when it came to the video production. Hopefully, next episode that will be sorted. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast or anything else that I do, make sure to get in contact with me. But for now, enjoy. How you doing, Daniel? Good to see you again.
Good good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning. I can't complain, man. Oh, I can complain a little bit, but we'll get
For
into that
sure.
in a bit.
Yeah.
In
we
a
could.
bit.
We all could.
Um, I just I like the idea of doing these podcasts just to stay in touch with people and always try to meet people. So I kind of want to make this a regular thing, especially with you because you're a decent talker. You know what you're saying. You know what you're not supposed to say. So it's
Oh, thank
always
you.
easy. Um, how's your day been? How's your life been? I haven't talked to you in a long time, except last week when we are trying to set this up.
Yeah, that's true. Life's been good. That's been good. I've been just like working, streaming. End of year is getting close, so just like planning holidays with family. And the newest thing is that I played football yesterday for like the first time in 4 years, and I scored a couple goals. So I'm pretty happy with
It was against little kids, I'm sure, or no.
that. I was basically smurfing. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. That World Cup stuff got me hyped as well because I was trying to install FIFA, and they had like a couple days like free trial on Steam. I was like, yeah, let me give it a bash. It's like 60% off. If I like it, I'll just I'll buy it. Whatever. I haven't played FIFA in years. I couldn't even get it to work. So if I bought the game, I just
Oh
couldn't do
no.
anything with it. Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, the World Cup has really hyped people up for football again, and it's great. I was talking to a dude I know yesterday. I was like, "Yo, have you noticed how football isn't really the same anymore?" And he goes, "Yeah, well, all those players, they're just whining and diving and whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not just that. It's like if you look at, for example, kids, like my generation is completely messed up. You know that. But the generation that came after me, they're stuck to their PCs, they're stuck to their tablets, and I don't blame the kids. I blame the parents.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
you don't see kids playing football anymore. Like I'm sure it's different in South America where you're from, but over here you just grew up on the concrete football field as a boy at least. And now every time I drive past it, you don't see those kids anymore.
They're probably playing FIFA.
Yeah, yeah, this is FIFA inside.
I mean, I think there's that is true what you're saying, but also there's like a generation gap that makes sense. With that, like for example, when I was like I don't know, like 10 years old, I would both play football on the street and play FIFA when I got home, like
Hmm.
because I had like a FIFA like 2000 something like that, one of the newest at the time. It was like compared to today, it's like shit quality, right? But it was like great at the time, and I played that with my brother all the time. But I also played football like on the street, and today with my 4-year-old son, like every other day we just go to the park, like toss a ball and just play around. And then when I come back, I just give him his like cell phone. It's just like, yeah, watch some cartoons while I cook, right? So I think this the generation of my age, like 30 something, like 20, like 28 to 35, maybe. I think we share a bit of like both worlds.
Yeah, definitely. But look, you're a parent, and you're putting
Yeah.
up a nice balance. You know what I mean? Like you also have these parents, and I see this around me. And maybe it's because I'm in a shit neighborhood, but it's like every time the kid says, does, or acts in any type of way, they just give him a tablet and tell him to shut up. It's like, but you're creating a monster. You don't realize it, but you're creating a monster.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I see that, but I also kind of understand that sometimes because like sometimes when you're a parent, you need to get shit done, and your kid just doesn't get it. Like of course it depends on the age, but like with the age that my son has, like 4-year old, he doesn't like you're never gonna expect him to like just stop and pause and think about you for a second that you're an adult with like troubles and stuff that needs to get done. So you sometimes need him to like get distracted with something so you can do other stuff, which is usually for him. Like you need
Yeah.
to like get some like food done or like I don't know, whatever it is. Sometimes the quickest solution is like just giving something to watch. And it is crazy because today we kind of complain about that with cell phones and tablets and stuff. But like my mom would do the same with me in the 90s, but with television. The
Yeah,
only difference is that I couldn't like just pick what I was watching on YouTube. I just like turn on television and watch whatever cartoon was on at the moment, which is a very much a different experience. But she was like, "Yeah, go watch TV and stop like bothering."
yeah.
It's
Now that you
kind of the
mention
same
it,
thing.
I didn't think of that. When I was growing up, like my parents didn't really tell me to do that, but I can see the similarities. I can see the similarities in, here's a tablet or here's a PC, here's a console versus here's a television. Just shut
I
up.
think here's the current form of entertainment. It would be like comic books back in the day, before
Yeah,
like TV was a huge thing. Yeah, go read your comic books. And I'm sure like adults at the time, like 40 something people will say, "Oh, comic books are ruining children's mind and whatever." It's just I remember watching a Visa's video a few years ago, maybe like almost 10 years ago now. That he was reading an article from the 1800s that was basically complaining that young people now in the 1800s were exchanging short notes to each other to tell stuff to each other, basically like tweets if you think about it, instead of just like sitting with like a proper like letter and writing like a long letter with like full stuff. There were parents complaining about that, like, oh, kids are not writing long letters anymore, they're just exchanging short notes. There wasn't even a freaking computer back then. So
yeah,
my point is, like, parents will always complain about shit, like always. We always do that.
yeah.
There's
True.
nothing new under the sun.
I think it's just like with everything else in life, there just needs to be a balance. If you can't balance something,
Oh
it
yes,
it'll just
definitely.
consume you. Like for example, one
You
of the
will
things that
never stop your kids to use whatever current form of
of
entertainment
course
there's
not.
being used. You just need to deal with that in the healthiest way possible. And as a first-time parent, you shit the bed most of the times with that, because you don't know what you're doing. Like, it's funny that you said like you're a parent, and I felt like from my point of view, it's like, oh, I feel like, oh, you're a parent, you know what you're doing. And I'm like, bro, I don't know shit. I, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just winging it here. We, like, me and my wife, we don't know. Like, this is the first kid. Like, there's
This is
a
the
saying
test
like
kid.
it's the first pancake. It always comes bad.
Bro,
It's
don't
what
let your kid hear
happens.
this shit in 10 years, bro. He's gonna be like, what? You did what to me?
You just like walk through life, and something's like, whoop, okay, permanent trauma, I guess. We'll keep moving on,
I
right?
guess a little bit of
That's what
drugs
you
will
do.
help. He'll be fine.
Mm. I am doing something to try and remedy that for a little bit. I started that in 2015. I'm technically writing a book, I guess, because right now it's been like it gets a couple dozen pages. I started in 2015 when I didn't have kids. Like, my kid was born in 2018, and in 2015 I started writing a basically like a Google Drive document that was destined to my future children, that I still didn't know when I was having. And just like I was trying to talk about my current life and what was happening like in the world and with me at the moment, because I always thought that my parents never, um I mean, this is not fault of my parents and anyone's parents, but the parents kind of failed to communicate what it was like to be a young person when they were young. They give you a vision of life when they are already adults and have a lot of responsibilities and a lot of shit to deal with. And I was trying to see if I could like kind of travel through time and communicate with my future children in a way that I was speaking to them from the mind that I was when I was 20 years something. So I've been trying to do that, and when my son was born, I kept writing about that, and this has been a couple of months since I don't write about it, but every couple of months I just go back to it and add some stuff about like what's happening in life. And I'm planning to give it to him when he's like 18 or something. So there's gonna be like 20 years of writings there. So that's my way of trying to cut the gap that exists between like being a like an old boring person and like being a young person that kind of knows what it is to be young.
That is a very good idea, actually. Like, just your thoughts. Like, I can see myself change almost from a day-to-day basis. Because if I look back 10 years ago, I am such a different person. Like, pe- sometimes the topic comes up, and I don't really like telling those stories of all the negativity or the bad stuff that happened around me and that I cause on to others as well. But when I look
Right.
back, I am like 180 degrees, like turned around and just completely something different. So what are some of the things that you write in there, for example? What's like one of the things that pops up into your mind right now?
Well, sometimes whenever I get back and trying to write something, I kind of like end up like reading it all from the start because I started this like 7 years ago now, and I'm like whoa, like 7 years ago I was a very different person. And one thing that kind of always surprises me is that I was hyper committed to dedicate my life to music back then. I was like playing in two different bands, three different bands at one point. I was a bassist in one, guitarist in one, drummer in another one, and I was sang in all of them. And right now, this it's been a while. Like I still play guitar with my kid every once in a while, but I'm nowhere near what I wanted to be 7 years ago. But I'm still happiest that I thought I would be, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like the path that I took ever since Rocket League entered into my life, basically, and ever since I got a kid, it's been so much different than when I was in 2015 writing that. And I don't think I could imagine that my life would be like this today, and that I would be so successful in my job too, because that's something that changed a lot between 7 years ago and now. And I think that's always what surprises me, is that I'm really really happy, happiest that I could imagine, really. And it is because stuff that I didn't even know that were going to happen back then, which is reasonable. No one can plan their future, but I was so sure at the time that my life was going to be like being a musician, being like writing original songs, being in different bands, and just like make a living off of that. And that definitely didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Does it
fine with it.
was it like a childhood dream to be a musician or an artist, or was that something that you just picked up along the way?
No, it was definitely a childhood dream. I grew up listening to Guns N' Roses mostly, and my dream was to be like Izzy Stradlin.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't want to be, because every like at the time every kid wanted to be like either Axl Rose or Slash, like just like doing crazy solos or just like crazy vocals. I wanted to write songs. I knew that Izzy Stradlin was the one writing songs, like being like the backbone of the whole thing, like the main composer. And I wanted to be the main composer. I wanted to be like the guy behind the shadows, that actually do the actually does the heavy work. And that's the guy that I wanted to be. And I kind of was in the Guns N' Roses cover band that I was that I was in. Of course, not writing original songs, but like that driving the whole group together and like forward. I was in that band for like 3 years, and I helped take the band to like a whole new level here in Uruguay, like locally. And so I kind of did that to one point, but nowhere near where I thought that it was that I was going to do it when I was a child. But it was definitely a childhood dream. I would
Mm-hmm.
always want to be a musician.
I knew you had a background in music, but I didn't know it was that big. I thought you just
Oh
like played
yes,
the music for fun with your friends and stuff. I never knew that you were in two or three different bands.
yeah, and that was like
It's
at one point when I was like, yeah, 20 20 from 25, no, maybe from
oh
24 up until almost like 29, something like that. Like I left the last band right when I started YouTube,
mm-hmm.
like Rocket League YouTube. But before that, I was a singer. When I was like 19, I was a singer in a heavy metal band, kind of like a
Okay.
hair metal band kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
My hair was longer than this,
Even longer than now?
even longer. Yeah, it was like almost to my waist.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a very it's funny because so you're gonna share this thing with me as well because I've always said that music is an extremely powerful tool in almost every way possible. As in, it can change your mindset. It can change the way you look. It can change the way you look at the world. It can change everything. And like when I was younger, I dabbled in music too. I used to make. I'm still into hip hop. I used to write bars. I used to try to make instrumentals. I used to try to do all those things.
Right.
And locally, I wasn't very bad. I was pretty decent. I just never took it really serious. And it's looking back on it now, it's a huge missed opportunity because now all the people from way back that were making the music around my time have continued doing so. But in that time, there wasn't really a hip hop scene in the Netherlands. But right
Right.
now, people are literally making like hundreds and thousands of euros every year just off of music, just off of performing. And sometimes I'm like, what if I stood around? Like, what if? What if I stuck around and I just kept going? Because now, like, my fiance is like, oh, why don't you just pick a backup? Why don't you keep doing that? Why don't you? Why don't it's like
Yeah, it's
it
not that easy, is it?
it it's it is, but it isn't. Because here's the thing with
Exactly.
hip
Yeah.
hop, with hip hop music, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. You have to
Yeah,
live
you
it.
gotta do something every day. Just like you gotta grind it, just like you grind
Exactly.
what you're doing
Like
right now.
you wake up, you do your things, and then it's studio, it's music, it's
Oh
adventure,
yes.
because you need to experience things, you need to see things. Look, I can tell you hundreds of stories, but after a while that gets boring, and after a while you can't talk about that anymore. You have to hang out with other musicians. You have to go to concerts. You have to do all the things
I have to
that
be there. You have to be active. Yeah. Yeah. Back then,
exactly.
like right now, I'm streaming 4 times a day. Back then, I was like rehearsing 5 times, like 4 times a day, 4 times a week. Sorry. And back then, I would rehearse with my bands 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Like after work, it was just like band and music stuff. And like I would dedicate my time to that. And when I would get back, I would sit on my computer and just practice stuff until I get it right. Because
I
that's the other thing.
like
I'm a very obsessive person.
that was rock music, I assume, right?
Yes, one of the bands was a Guns N' Roses cover band. The other band was a Metallica cover band where I
Hmm.
was playing the guitar, and the other one was a heavy metal band. I was well, kind of more like rock and roll, but in that I would play drums. But yeah, it was all rock and roll slash metal. Yes.
Okay. I've been introduced to rock music pretty recently, maybe a year ago. I never used to listen to it. I heard some tunes that I liked, but even to this day, I can't name one musician or band or cover or song or whatever. I don't know. I like rock music. It's fine. Not the heavy stuff, but the regular rock, I like it. But I can only imagine how much work goes into, like, for example, a band or a song. Because it's not just one guy with one instrumental or like three dudes on one instrumental saying something. It's you got a bassist, you got a guitarist, you got a guitarist, you've got, I don't know, you got a piano guy, you've got a keyboard. Like
Yes.
there's so much going on. How how hard is it to um, sort of direct the whole band? Is there like a band leader? Is there like someone who's in charge of everything?
Well, I sincerely hope my old bandmates don't watch this, but I was kind of the band leader. like, I would sort of end up in that role without explicitly saying so, because sometimes like the guys were kind of lost on what to do, and I'm not very good at not trying to manage stuff in that sense.
Hmm.
So I would just like pick up the slack and okay, got I would basically instruct him to go home and practice. Like I would encourage a lot of like home practice, because a lot of the band members, not just my band, it's a very common thing with like bands, especially if you're not like taking things super seriously. They only really kind of practice when we are rehearsing,
Mm.
and that's not good because you're supposed to learn what you need to do beforehand, so when we are back, when we are actually rehearsing, we you already know what you need to know, and we can play together. So you can I was kind of the leader in that sense, and I would try to make them basically like practice a lot and try to direct them to where we wanted to go, but it's definitely not easy.
Yeah. So what is the difference in rehearsing then? Like I thought rehearsing was just practicing.
Well, I would say that rehearsing is practicing all together what each one of the band members already practiced at home. It's like to
Oh.
try and mashing it together, because you're kind of playing live, of course,
Hmm.
all together, and you need someone to just like let you know when the song starts. That's usually the drummer or maybe someone else. And I would another thing that I've seen a lot of like bands do when I was in them is when you are rehearsing something, a lot of the guys kind of want have like a big anxiety to finish the song that they're playing. Than if you mess up like mid song, they would just keep going. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, like we're rehearsing. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. We keep going.
happens.
And I was like, no, if we fuck up, we stop because we need to fix that. We just fucked up, and we were gonna play that bit over and over until we get it right, and then we're gonna finish the song.
So is it then that sometimes someone is not in sync with the rest of the band, or is it like a wrong note, or like
It could be anything. Could be, yeah, it could be. Most of the times is like someone not remembering how a part goes, and then just like, oh, they forgets, or they go silent for like a bar or two, or like you say, they're not in sync, or they're out of tune. And which is weird because we kind of like tune our guitars and stuff before the rehearse. And when I hear someone that is out of tune, it's like, no, 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 you're out of tune. I have a very good ear, so it's like, no, no, you're. I know that you're a tune your guitar, and we'll start from the top. So it's a very interesting thing.
Yeah, I don't know anything about instruments. Like I'm sure, I like to believe that I think that I got a good ear. Like if I were in that environment for a couple of weeks, like I like to tell myself that I would be able to tell the difference. But I don't think I've got an ear for that. That's a skill apart. Like I can hold a rhythm though. Like when it comes to like hip hop, for example,
Yeah,
like I can spit a cappella and I can tell instantly when that beat starts, and then I'll have like my fourth or fifth bar ready and I'll just start right on the beat, or right on the kick. And
that's very common on singers. I used to know a singer that the guy could sing very well, and he would hit like the highest notes possible. He was really good. He didn't know how to play like anything, like literally anything. He didn't know how to play a single instrument, but he had such good ear that you give him a note, and he was like, okay, yeah, I know. If you give me that note, I know what key the whole song is gonna be in, and I can sing along with that, and it would be
wow.
really good. But he didn't know how to play anything. So uh, playing an instrument doesn't guarantee that you're gonna have a good ear for music, and the other way around works too. You can have very good ear for like notes and stuff, but you can maybe not to know how to play an instrument. That's fine.
Do you think you can learn how to recognize and hear notes, or is that something that you're definitely born with? Like I'm sure you can learn to a certain degree, and that no one comes out of the womb knowing exactly what is what. But do you think
Well,
anyone
there are
can learn
people
a
with
little
perfect
bit?
pitch that you don't. There are people with perfect pitch. I certainly don't have perfect pitch, but there are people with perfect pitch that they don't learn how to like have perfect pitch. They just have it. So there's
Hmm.
something, and I believe there are studies that can determine if that basically say that perfect pitch is not something that you can really learn, at least not at the degree that people that are already born with perfect pitch have. But you can definitely learn how to like have better ear for music and tunes and notes and stuff. But I think that I, for example, never studied that specifically. I just like happen to like have a good ear for notes and stuff.
Hmm.
I can
That's
recognize
interesting.
when an instrument is out of tune.
So
That's
what
something
was
that
the
the
type of
research.
genre that you guys will make music in?
Well, depends on the band. I think when the first like serious band that was in, it was when I was 19 years old. I was the singer, and we would play and write songs. It was alternate metal, alternative
Okay.
metal. It was kind of like Alter Bridge, if you know that band.
No, I don't know
Uh,
any bands, bro.
that's fine. It's a like very like famous alternate metal band, but it's like heavy metal, but not the like the purest heavy
Hmm.
metal. It's like you could call it like modern heavy metal, stuff like that.
Yeah, when
Um,
the thing that I don't like about like rock music, and especially like metal music, is like there's too much going on. It's like I hear every instrument and I hear the dude screaming in the microphone, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how?
I love
What
that.
is good about this? It's just it's literally just five guys on a stage just like slamming shit around. That's to my ears. No disrespect to the
Yes,
people
of
that
course,
enjoy that,
of course.
but I guess that's taste, right? Like I
I
can
mean,
for like I like classical music, but I'll listen to it like once a year. If I hear it every day, I just want to put the gun to my fucking head. It's like Jesus
What
Christ.
you describe it about metal is so funny because it's what I feel about punk music.
Same thing. Yeah.
I hate punk music. I kind of hate it. I'm not gonna lie. And my wife loves punk music, which is really funny because like listening to music in the car can get really interesting. And I'm
La
usually driving,
Chlanka.
so I usually pick the music. But yeah, to me, punk music is like there's almost and of course, to people who likes punk music, they're gonna say, "Oh, what the fuck are you talking about?" But to me, there's just like okay, there's the drummer who can play very fast, very nice, yeah, well done, and there's just like the guitar guys who were just like like the whole freaking time, and it's like, what is this? And there's just one guy that sings things that he can do screamo. He goes go and then you get it gets in that like Californian punk voice like da, 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 da. I was like, oh my god, it's like all the songs are literally the same. So that's what I feel about punk music. What you feel about metal? That is why I hear in every single punk music from like Blink 182 to Green Day is kind of like savable. I like some like old songs from Green Day, but then my wife likes I don't know Fall Out Boy, All American Rejects, and I feel like I like tease her when we're in the car and she's listening to her music because like a song will come up and I'm like, is this Fall Out Boy? Like I already know this is not Fall Out Boy. But it's just sounds they all sound so similar to me, and she's like, you know, this is not Fall Out Boy because like I a lot of times I cannot distinguish which band is playing because they all play so similar. But I'll also bashing punk music. That's just what I feel. It's a personal feeling, of course. Like people like punk music, and it's okay.
Yeah, it also kind of depends on what you grew up with. Like, for example,
Oh
I grew
yes.
up I grew up with like hip hop music. I grew up with like Turkish pop music, for example. My mom loves listening to Turkish pop music, and it's the type of music to me like how you describe punk music. It's they're all the same. They're all like happy tunes. It's everybody's happy, everyone's having a good time, and it's like Jesus Christ, can you make something else? But like for example, I grew up with hip hop music, and in my time, like when I was a kid, we didn't have a PC, and when I got a PC, I didn't have internet. Like that was way too expensive for us. So eventually, what would happen is I would go to my cousin's house because that was really close to my elementary school, and they would have internet, and they would like listen to music. And I had an older cousin, male cousin, who was like 9 or 12 years older than me, and he would listen to hip hop music. So I would hear all these like Dutch hip hop artists or like Tupac and Eminem, and I remember vividly there's this local rap group who are still active in my city, and I grew up with them, so I know them dearly. They made a song called 180 cc's, like in a bike, you know what I mean? And it took off. But they used the
Wow.
instrumental of Tupac, "Ambitions as a Rider," dun, 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 na, 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 right? So that
I'll
song
pretend that
was
I
so
know that song.
popular.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that song got so popular, the Dutch version, the local version, got so popular. And at that time, I didn't really hear about Pac too much. I heard like one or two songs, but I didn't
Oh.
understand English, so it didn't really mean anything to me. And then eventually, when I was like 11, 12, 13, I heard Tupac "Ambitious as a Writer." And I'm like, I didn't even know Pac was dead. I was like, bro, this guy, he stole my boy's instrumental and he just made a song on it. He's a thief. Tupac is a thief. Tupac did this. And I'm just, and
Oh my
that's
god.
a friend of mine turns out, he's like, what are you talking about? Tupac's dead. That song's like 20 years old. Like they stole his
Yeah,
instrumental.
yeah, yeah. That happens a lot.
And that's when I
Oh
learned
my
how
god.
influential music can be. Because there was a whole generation of kids that in the Netherlands that grew up on that song. And there's like not a single person around my age that doesn't know the chorus to that song. And it's I don't know, maybe there's still a passion of music left in me, but I just love music. And it's not that I have a particular taste for something. Because, for example, I hate mumble rap. You turn that shit on, I'm just going to zone out. I'm not even going to listen to it because
What is
it's
that?
mumble rap.
I don't know what that is.
Mumble rap is like, I don't even know the name of the artist. It's like where they just say gibberish. It's, you don't even understand it. And when you look at hip hop, when you look at rap
Mm.
music, that's the like what you say is what makes the music. Like if I don't understand you, what's the point?
Yeah, that
It
makes
makes
sense.
no sense. It's like having a band in rock music with three vocalists and one guitarist. That makes no sense.
Well, to be honest, there's some types of metal that I dislike. That are, to me, they are trying to be very, 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 very heavy, and then just like fail to make music. In my opinion, they're kind of like death fast metal, something like that. I don't know the exact like name of the genre, but the like even to me it's worse because I'm not a native English speaker. So when if you don't like speak properly, I'm not gonna understand you.
Hmm.
And they're like kind of like screamo things. So the only thing that you hear is like, so I don't understand the words, and I kind of like some of that spread out through the song. Like for example, there's this band called Epica. I don't know if you know it. That it has like two singers. One of the singers is a girl that has like a soprano voice, kind of like classical music, but the music is heavy metal mixed with some classical. And there's this other guy that kind of sings in that guttural style, like so the mix of that is very nice because there's some huge contrast between those one of the other things. But just like a full album of people doing that kind of scream like growling, I just can't stand it because there's a it's too much to me. And it is not anything that is kind of like new or that I feel like too old for it. There's like old bands that do that, and of course there's certain people that like it, but it's I have that same feeling that if I cannot fully understand what's going on with the lyrics, I just cannot appreciate it.
Yeah, I
But
fully agree.
I was thinking about what you said, that it very much depends to what kind of music you grew up on. And I think the reason that I like what I like is because I like a big part of my childhood I was living with my aunt and my cousins, and so there were I was like the little one, like because I'm the youngest one of my brothers, or my siblings. In and on my aunt's house there was my two cousins and my brother, my older brother, and they are kind of like the same age. They are all like 10 years older than me. And at the time, so it was, I would say it was like 97, 98. So I was like 7 years old. They already were like well into their like teenage years, and they would just like be obsessed with Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Nirvana. So I would just listen to what they would listen, and they introduced me to this music like in cassettes. Remember the cassettes?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I remember those. You had to rewind it with a
remember the cassette?
pencil.
Those ones, yes, those ones. Been seeing one in years, and they made copies for me, and I was like, listen to this. This is good music. So that's the reference that I had.
Yeah,
And I started to listen to that. I was like, this is cool. And I think at first, when I was like 8 years old, I just kind of like force myself to like rock and metal to like please to my older like brother and
of
my older
course.
cousins, which is what you do when you're a kid. You try to like please adults. That kind of came wrong.
Bro, no, no, no.
And
What is this? Do I have the Pope on
I
the
thought that the
podcast?
name
What is
reveal was
this?
gonna be a big thing. Jesus Christ! What you try to do when you're a kid is to like
Be like the people you look up to. Let's keep it
exactly,
on
yeah,
that.
exactly. Let's keep it there. And so yeah, I started liking Guns N' Roses a lot just because they would listen to that, and that kind of like grew on me. I think like over the years,
Mhm.
and they became one of my favorite bands like that: Metallica, System of a Down, Nirvana, I would say. And then I started like on my own when I was like 15. I had this friend, and he was really into speed metal. I remember, and he introduced me to Sonata Arctica. They're like a Finnish group. They play speed metal, and they're
Mhm.
really good at it. And I think my camera died.
That's fine.
Okay, and I'm gonna fix it in a second. And they would play speed metal. They were really good at it, and I that's kind of like the other the That's kind of when I started liking that kind of music, like speed metal, like hair metal, different types of heavy metal music. And I think over the years I just like learn to like it a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking back on the first time I think I ever entered a studio. I'm not sure if it was the first time or like the second, third time, but I remember vividly. There was a guy in my high school that used to make hip hop music,
Hmm.
and he heard that I was interested in like hip hop music, and he's like, "Yo, why don't you come around my house and you can watch how I do it, and if you want, you can record something yourself, and if necessary, like I'll do everything else for you. You just come around, just hang out."
Right.
So I did. Sorry, I'm so used to I call my buddy. I didn't call my buddy. I went to my buddy who also was kind of interested in that. Who is now, by the way, a K1 fighter, a kickbox fighter, and we went over to his house, and I had this notepad, right? This physical notepad, kids, not the one on your phone. I had a physical notepad. I wrote my lyrics in, and we pull up there, and we get into the studio, and he puts on an instrumental, and he's like, "Who wants to go first?" So I go, "I'll go first." I put on the headphones. I'm standing in
Nice.
front of the microphone. Beat starts. What do you mean count to four? What do you mean like? What do you mean BPM? What is that? What are you talking? What is that, bro? What are you talking about, bro? I just grabbed the book and just randomly, don't even pay attention to the beat. Just he's like, okay, stop, 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 stop. Stop. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? What's wrong with you? What are you doing? Like, it does.
It's
Let me
just
look at you. Let me look at your lyrics. And he looks at it. He goes like, dude, this sentence is 3 lines long. Like, this is not a. What is
this
this?
is
Doesn't
not
even
how it works,
rhyme.
right?
He's like, what
Oh
the
my
hell are
god.
you doing? Like, you need to relax. You need to slow down a bit. That was my first experience. One of
Easy.
the first experiences I had, and it was one of those things. I was like, huh, maybe it's not as easy as it looks. Maybe they aren't just like.
It looks easier from the outside, yeah.
Yeah, because
That,
when you listen to it, like if it's a good product, like a good product is one of the characteristics of a good product, whether that's a music or a service or something materialistic, is if it looks easy, if it's very easy to use or listen to or whatever. In my eyes, that's one of the characteristics of a good product. Like for example, I was just talking to you about FIFA before we
yeah,
started the podcast. Is if I buy a video game, I install the video game. I don't want to fiddle around with settings. If I click the play button, I want to play the game. I don't want to go into
right.
my BIOS. I don't want to do the firewall.
Make it as
I'm
easy as possible. Dumb it
Yeah,
down for me.
exactly. I'm a consumer. I don't have time for that. I'm a consumer. I want it. I paid for a product. I want it. It's not like you buy a car and he goes, "Oh, by the way, it's only got one wheel. You got to figure out the other three." Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I going to leave it here? Well, you can't leave it here because it's yours and this is our property. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's strange. By the way, before I forget, remember last week or 2 weeks ago when we were talking about setting up this podcast, and I was like, "Hey, you went to the RLCS. You got any tips for me?" You go like, "Oh, people are gonna recognize you." I went, "Well,
Yeah, how
I'm
was
not."
that?
It was. Listen, man. Listen. It was good, but I gave it a little bit of my own twist on it. See,
Okay,
I'm not sure if you've seen the video footage of it yet.
I
Uh,
haven't.
You haven't? Okay, well, it was me versus the entire Carmine Corp fans about to start a fight. It was like 1v50.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Not an actual, well, it could have been, but, my intention wasn't to get into a fight. Let me just like TLDR it. So the French fans, they pulled up and credit when credit's due. They brought in that football sphere, man. Like they had drums, they had flags, they had chants, they had initiators. I loved it. I instantly fell in love. And even though I dislike KC now, even though I dislike everything surrounding KC, seriously, I respect it. Because to me, it's like a door opening to something new in Rocket League. And it's being an
Right.
actual supporter, you
Yes,
know?
of the team and not like the players.
Exactly. And it was beautiful. So the problem was I was sitting in my own section, and literally right next to us were the KC supporters. So when the Moist KC match was on, the entire stadium was rooting against them, and they were trying to root for us. And then
Damn.
you know me, Frowzy. I got a big mouth. I can seem arrogant. I can seem a certain type of way, violent, or aggressive, whatever the fuck. But I don't start negative stuff. I've been through so much bullshit in my life. Like I know the consequences of some of those things, and I've promised myself that I would treat everyone the same way as they treat me. Right? I didn't start it. They started off with certain hand gestures and certain words. Gave it back to them. They said something worse. We gave it back to them, and it kind of escalated a little bit. And then eventually, at the end of the match, we're face to face. And that's kind of like at the end of the entire situation, there's like a 10-second video clip. Someone recorded me. There's a 10-second video clip of me taunting them. And yeah, that's the TLDR version. But
So you
all in
had
all,
fun.
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. It was fun. It was all in good fun. Like, my community was like, oh, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Like, dude, I'm 28. Like, we're there
Come
for a
on.
video game. Like we're there to have fun. I'm not there to start a fight. I'm not there to, get hit or hit others. Like, that's not what we're doing. What we're there for. I went there to meet people from my community. I met people from my community. Surprisingly, like I met more people I didn't recognize. They knew me, but I
I
couldn't
told
place.
you. I told. Didn't I told you? I told you.
Bro, I even told you, like, I'm not as big as you. Like, my face is not as known as yours. And
Yeah. No shit. Yeah. Glad I told you. Yeah.
throughout the whole weekend, let's
I
say,
told you. You're gonna get stopped by people you don't know, and they're gonna like,
yeah,
"Yo, Turk."
yes. It's like if I met 10 people I knew, either their name on the internet or whatever, or heard their voice or whatever, there were at least 15 or 20 people that I met on top of those 10 that I was like, I'm just being polite. I'm like, hey man, how are you doing? This and I just thought,
Right.
but I don't want to be a dick, Like he took his time,
Exactly.
he took the courage or whatever to walk up to me and say hello. Like I respect that. I
Takes a
truly
lot of
respect that.
courage.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't be an asshole to them. I can't turn around like, who are
Yeah. Of
you? What do you
course.
mean? Who are you? Like, hey, how are you doing? It's like it was great. It
Sometimes
was
I would feel bad, like because they would tell me I am like this name from that place, and I'm like, bro, like I'm gonna be
dude.
super honest. I have terrible memory with names and stuff. I don't remember. Like nice to meet you, and I love you, and thank you for like being here or whatever, and like to say hi to me, but I don't remember your name. And he's like, yeah, I say hi to you one time
Oh
in the chat
no.
of like that streamer like 6 months ago. I'm like, yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not gonna. And
I
that's not the worst part. The worst part is when it's gonna happen to you from now on. If it didn't already happen, you're gonna have people in chat that you're not gonna recognize the name in chat, and they're gonna say to you, "Yeah, you signed my shirt at like at
oh
LAN."
my god. I already had that happen to me, man. I was streaming
And
like
I'm
on a
like, "Oh, that's cool." Oh, the worst thing that happens to me is like I have new people in chat and I'm treat them like a newcomer or whatever, and they talk for 10 minutes and they're like, "Oh, by the way, I met you at Dallas." I'm like, "Why didn't you start with that?"
yeah. No, I had that happen to me. I didn't stream on Monday because I was way too tired. I needed some time for myself. I streamed on Tuesday, and like I'm like 3 minutes in 3 minutes into the stream. I'm still setting up. Everyone's still coming in. I had like two people in there. It's like, hey man, it was great seeing you at RLCS. I'm sitting like, who the hell? Who the hell is this guy? But again, like I hope I never lose this. I truly hope I never lose this attitude, but I do genuinely appreciate it. Like from a viewer's perspective, from a listener's perspective, you guys have no idea how much it means when you guys come up to us or me, for example, and say hello, how you doing? I watch your content. I
That's
enjoy
one of
your
the best
content. Like
feelings in the world. Yeah,
it's
that's like one-on-one personal feedback from the viewer, and it's like it's the best thing.
yes. Like if I didn't have any issues with like if there wasn't money in the world, just that feeling alone, I would still do what I do. Honestly,
That
it's
is very true.
great.
Yes, that is very true. I've had people. I think one of the best feelings for me with my content that I've experienced is that people on Reddit, especially on Reddit, because Like the Reddit community is like a whole other like different set of like people for some reason, and I understand that. And I've had like Reddit commenters telling me in my comedy sketches, like bro, like my week has been absolute shit, and I watched this and I laughed, and now I feel better. And I'm like, bro, you're gonna make me cry. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? That hits different.
people made me cry, man. Like
I've seen you cry. Yeah,
yeah, like I'm very like I'm in tune with my not in tune, but I'm a very emotional person.
yeah,
And
me
that
too.
doesn't mean that I just cry constantly, but I'm emotional as in you can make me laugh very easily. You can make me angry very easily, but you can also make me cry very easily. I'm
Oh
a
yeah,
very
me too.
emotional
Yeah.
person. And at first I had trouble with that because like 1 or 2 years into streaming and I start getting messages of these people like, hey man, listen, you know, I'm not gonna name any names, but there's a couple of them that really stand out, and one of them is like, hey, listen, I've been very down, I've been very depressed, this and this happened, but hearing you make those stupid borderline bannable jokes that are like so extreme, it's like how do you get away with it? But the things that I say made that person happy in the moment. And I am not the type of person to tell you what to do to treat yourself. I won't do that. Even if I know the answer, even if I know for a fact it's going to work, I won't do it because I don't want to carry the responsibility of any negative outcome of that. But that same person sent me a message a couple months later. And for some reason, when I saw the message, it just dawned upon me. It was like, bro, I didn't hear from this guy for months. What if something else happened to him? And he sent me a message like, hey, listen, man, I got my life in order. And even though all you do is like just coach Rocket League and look at replays and whatever, you really helped me. And I'm sitting there like, really? Like I helped you? And I just, I answered him back politely, but it's one of those things that just sticks with you. It's like, damn, like this has an impact on people's life positively. It's great. It's really it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I think that one thing that I realized is that entertainment in general has a very powerful impact in people's lives, especially if they're going through uh, like rough shed in their lives and whatnot. Any form of entertainment that they enjoy is gonna be a big, is gonna be a huge thing towards the path of like getting better because it's a distraction that kind of stops you from like thinking how bad your life is right now.
Hmm.
And that I guess that like can be music, Netflix, and sometimes yeah like streaming and YouTube, and sometimes like we fall into that category, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I tell people too. Like people take sometimes I struggle with words, right? I'll say something and it sounds completely wrong, and sometimes people will come back to it a couple days later, be like, okay, now I understand what you mean, but you could have said it this way. And one of
Exactly.
those things that tell people is like, don't tell me about your negative stuff. Like, don't tell me about stuff that I can't fix for you. Like, I believe that you should talk about your problems. I genuinely believe that it helps you totally. But there are so many people that are stuck in a loop and they just constantly just oh, my life's bad. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, this happened. Oh, I was trying to start my car, my battery died. Oh, the gas price have gone up and groceries. Bro, sometimes you need to just be like, hey, you know what? Fuck the world. This is what's good about today. Today I woke up. I woke up. That's it. I woke up. It's the miracle of life. You woke up. What more do you want? If you wake up, there are very few excuses that you can come up with to not do something. That's it. And it's like, I get it, but maybe you need to put in a little bit of effort from a different perspective. Maybe it's not about how much your foot hurts, but it's more about, what can I do to fix my foot instead of moan about it. Actions speak louder than words. And, sometimes there are many people out there that, that have no other choice.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that perspective. Um, I grew up with a depressive mother, and uh, she would be terrible for like months, and then sometimes like wouldn't like get up like out of bed and whatnot, and all of that while my like dad was working and like trying to figure out shit and live with my brother and stuff. So I understand that perspective of because I've seen it like firsthand of uh, the person that don't w- it's stuck in a place where they don't know what to do with their life.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to fix it. They don't even have the will on how to fix it. And of course, my mom didn't have any Twitch streamer to go and like trauma dump and stuff like that. But I understand the perspective of those kind of people, and I've seen those kind of people sometimes in my chat. Not that often, I'm gonna be honest, but sometimes. And what I like my reaction to that, I guess it depends on the person, depends how close I am to the person. Like recently, I've had a friend, like an online friend that I've made through Rocket League, tell me that he was in a really really bad place, and I am not a therapist, so all I could say to that was like DM me, let's hang out and let's play some Rocket League, and let's try to have fun for
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. And if you want, you can talk to me about your problems, and I'm not gonna be able to fix them, but I'm gonna be able to listen if you want to vent, because sometimes
See,
that's
that's
only
the right
tends to get
attitude. Sorry
better.
to cut you off.
No,
Please
that's
don't
fine.
forget what you're gonna say.
Yes,
But that's the right attitude. And that's the attitude and help that I will always support. My problem is that on the internet there's so many people who are a specialist. It's like,
there
oh, you're
are streamers
depressed,
that they
do
believe they are
this.
therapists. Yeah,
It's like, bro, you have no idea how much you can affect someone's life negatively by giving him, you know, advice without any professional education.
I mean, not
It's
even professional,
dangerous.
even like life experience. There are so many young people that they don't know
Yeah.
how to handle shit, and that they don't realize that the only difference between them and the viewer that they're trying like they know more than them is that they are on a screen with a mic on. That's the only
Yeah.
difference. Like the only difference between me and the people that watch me is that I'm the one playing Rocket League with the camera on. There's literally no difference. Other than that, we're the same people. I'm
Yeah.
like no entertainer should believe that they are like higher in the uh higher value than their viewers, and there's a lot of people that believe they are that way. And like I said, I think it depends very much on what how close you are to the people. Like I was just talking with my friend, and but I do understand the perspective of people that try to like talk about the problems on stream, because many times there are people that feel like super like alone, and the maybe the streaming like is the only kind of like community they have where they feel that is a safe space to try to talk about something. And that is the other thing, if you have you have someone that talks about the problems on stream while you're trying to focus the attention on something else, usually something fun, um you gotta treat very carefully, because like you said, you cannot instruct them to do anything because they might be super fragile and sensitive to what you tell them, especially if they see you as a figure of authority, which many
Mm-hmm.
people are. And on the other hand, you cannot just like dismiss them, because they that might make them feel even worse.
Yeah.
So I think the only way to react to that is to try and react as an adult to how you do to if like a person tells you that they're feeling bad, like I was trying to say, just offer you some like time to have fun, distract them from the problems, and like of course if you really really feel bad, like try and talk with something to someone, like try to talk to a family member, like try to seek help. Sometimes it's difficult to tell people like seek help because you might make them feel that they're worse than they think they are.
Yeah.
But it's a very like fine thread to walk on sometimes. I'll say it's not easy.
Yeah. To come back what you were saying earlier about, certain content creators or entertainers feeling like they're higher than other people is one of the reasons why I always try to do my best to be real. Like I'm being real. I'm not putting up a character. I'm not doing this. And for example, that RLCS stuff. Do you know how easy it is for me to make sure that video gets deleted and I never talk about it? It's not something that I'm proud of. It's not something that I'm bragging and boasting about. But I'm keeping it real. Like this is me, and this is my mistake. This is what happens. This is what happened. Sorry, and this is to show you not that
That
I'm.
sounded like this is what happens when you mess with me.
No, 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 no.
You don't
Those
mess with
days
the
have gone.
Turk.
No, but my point is like, stop looking at entertainers like they're gods or like they're picture
Yes.
perfect. I'll if I have the ability, if I have the means to, I will give you a full real sketch of who I am. So you can decide whether you want to, be someone very active around me or be someone like just watch my content be like, "Hey, I don't like that guy," because there's a lot of people that I have that with. Great example, Joe Rogan. Love his content. As a character, maybe not so much, but I want honesty. Honesty is very important to me, and I want to be honest to people too. And I think that's the problem. Content creators, or sorry, let me not say content creator. People in general, especially nowadays on the internet, they they just always want to be perfect. They always want to be good. They always want to have no mistakes. And then when they do that for a long period of time, they actually start believing it. So what you
Uh,
get is you have these
they buy
people,
into the
these
character. Yeah.
exactly. You have these influencers who think they can give people advice on their mental health or life situation or spendings or relationship. It's like, no, 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 no. Don't get it twisted. You have no idea what that person is going through. Like you don't know what you're talking about. Like you might be able to help your friends directly, like you direct friends.
Right.
Someone on the internet, bro, are you crazy? Like no, don't take that responsibility. You're gonna
Yeah, I think people takes uses the like medium of the internet to convey a different portray of what they are a lot of
yeah,
times.
100%.
And I've seen I'm gonna say this from the perspective of watching and reading a lot of Twitter threads of people like arguing with each other. If you believe every single tweet that you see, everyone on Twitter has like a five, six different degrees on like different specializations of human psychology, which is like simply not true. Not there's no possible way that all human psychologists are on Twitter at the same time. So at least a couple of them are like bullshitting. So that's what you gotta keep in mind when you like listen to people online. And a lot of times maybe it doesn't happen a lot to us because we are like quote unquote small creators in like especially like because Rocket League is kind of small in itself. But even with bigger creators, I think that people see them as like a huge figure of authority, and they're just like most of them are just like regular people.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be difficult for kids uh, to try and not get their mind like shaped for those creators. So, and that's a little bit of the parent shaft as well.
Yeah, it's scary, but look, what I said earlier still applies to myself as well. You can also look at the bright side of things, because in
Oh
reality,
yeah,
it's free entertainment. It's laughter. You get to meet people. You get to do fun shit. There's also a lot of good sides to it to
yeah.
do
Most of
what
it
we're
is
doing.
really good. Yeah, that is true. Most of it is
Yeah,
really good.
I I I love it. I'm gonna be very honest. It's not something I would advise anyone to pick up. I just stumbled into it. Um, it doesn't pay the best. Also, I'm gonna be very honest about. Let's be real for a second. It doesn't
Oh
pay the
yes.
best, but the joy, like in my community, I have literally people well in their 50s sitting in a call with a teenager and they're just chatting, they're hitting it up. And sometimes there are these magical moments where this teenager turns around and asks for something or says something. And this person that's an adult, has a family, will turn around and just try to help that teenager, to help that kid, give him advice. And I'm sitting there like, wow. Like 20 years ago, this wasn't possible.
It
And
wasn't.
here we
Yes.
are. Like this grown man from that part of the world is giving really good life advice to this kid that lives on the other part of the world, and there's a mutual connection because they came in here because of, let's say, Rock League, and now they're exchanging stuff, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. This is so cool, and those are the moments that you just like, damn, damn,
Yeah,
this is dope.
I think that when you spend enough time in Rocket League, it stops being a game and it just starts to become a medium for like connecting with other people. At least to me, like
Yeah.
on stream and that. That reminds me of something that happened super recently. One of my best friends in Rocket League that I met through Rocket League. That it was the guy that picked me up in the airport in Dallas because he lives in Texas, and he took me to bowling for the first time in my life with her wife and his brother-in-law, and he like showed me around Dallas and stuff. Basically, like took care of me the entire trip when I was there. And he recently, a couple days ago, went into my stream with his son because his son just turned 30. No, 30, 13. Sorry. I was like,
That's an old ass dude playing Rocket League. Whoa.
not a native English speaker. Gotta remember that. Gotta remember that. English is my second language. You gotta remember that. 13. Also, that's English fault. That how it's gonna be like 13 and 30. There's just like one. That's a couple letters difference. That's not a me. So his son just turned 13, which means that he can now like make a Twitch account and is gonna start streaming and whatnot. And he came into my chat and like the my friend gift his son a subscription to my channel. And it was like, yeah, like my son is gonna start like watching regular now. And the kid was like, I love your sketches, love your content, I watch them all the time. And now I can like say it to you like in person because I am now allowed to be on Twitch, which is amazing.
Yeah, like one of my community staff, he's got a couple of kids, and every once in a while we'll do like an event. Well, like for example, right now during the holidays we're playing Terraria, and I'm thinking of putting up Ark again. And every time we see those, we do those events, like his kid, his oldest son is 9, I think, and he's not in the community. And
Right.
but every time we do those events, he's in the server and he's playing with us. And I'm sitting there like this is so cool. Like we have this dude that joined the community or the stream or the coaching, whatever, and he feels so comfortable. He feels so at home that he's willing to bring his kid in here to have fun, not only as a father and son or father and daughter or mother and son, whatever, but also with us. And it's like, okay, that's a sign of something good going on. Wait, you were going to tell me about that drink. What is that drink, bro?
Oh, this is mate.
Mate.
Sharaba mate. All right. So the vase itself, it's called a mate, but the thing that is in it, it is called sharba mate because the tree that it comes from, it it is called sharba mate, and this is made out of like ceramic, basically. Like how do you call that in English? Is it ceramic? Is the
Hmm.
right word for it? Okay,
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
like porcelain. It's like stone, but mudded. But like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one, yes, I think it's ceramic. So this is made of ceramic, but originally it kind of like fell out of use, but the let's call them like flowers of the plant, they're shaped like this.
Oh,
So the Indians back in the day here like cut the stuff from the like the plant, carve them, pour the green stuff in it and drank from it. So that's
okay.
like the origin of the thing. Now it's not made of the plant anymore. It's just like they made out of ceramic, just sell it. But yes, here in you, it is. There's different versions of this. We have one version in Uruguay, another version in Argentina. They are kind of similar. They don't tend to, well, they kind of like do it in the last 10 years, but before that not really. They didn't used to use thermos before.
Mhm.
This is something that we've been using since the 90s, and their herbs are different in Argentina. They also drink this in Brazil and a lot of parts of Brazil, which is where most of our herbs come from here in Uruguay. And they also drink it in Paraguay, but they call it tereré, and they drink it with ice,
Sounds like a
like
Discord
cold.
notification.
Tereré,
Yeah.
tereré. I haven't think about it.
So
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 yeah,
hold on,
you
hold on,
drink it
hold on.
really
So
cold.
just so I can follow through. So this is just a cup, and you put the herbs and the tree bark and stuff in there. So like kind of like how we make tea, and do you put like
Yes,
hot water in there or cold water?
hot water. Yeah,
Okay,
this
so it's a
you
hot
gotta.
drink.
Yeah, it's a hot drink. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
hot drink all year round. You just pour it
Mm-hmm.
and you just drink it. Like you have to see me like every couple minutes.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I see you sipping
this
on
is
it.
a very social drink.
Okay.
Not so much after COVID. I'm gonna say it because you gotta drink all from the same straw, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But this is a very social drink. This is something that you bring, like for example, when I don't know, my dad comes to visit, like I still do it with my dad and my brothers and stuff, like family. Like he brings his mate and I have mine, and we will drink just from one of them. Usually the one that is most recently made, because it's the newest. Because the herb like gets like watery over time. You drink this over like 5 6 hours, and then it just like tastes like water, like just hot water, and you have to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very social drinks with friends. Like you will see this in like a round of like 10 people. Just like there's an order where you just like pass the mate to like each one of them, and usually there's a certain customs like for example, the people that owns the matic gets to pick how to make it and how to serve it, and it is kind of frowned upon if you like receive a mate from the person that is actually pouring it, and you're like working around a little bit and whatnot because kind of it's not like how you like it. It's like don't do that, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like drink
I
it
love
as you give it. Drink it as you get it.
I love those little unwritten rules when it comes to like culture. Like we have that, for
It's
example, with
very
raka,
unreal.
with like alcohol. There's so many unwritten rules. It's like, and you go on YouTube. Like if you're not from the culture, you go on YouTube to find out. And half those
Yes.
videos is just full bullshit. I pulled up one the other day when I was in Discord about our drink, our raka, and you had these bunch of tourists in Turkey, and they butchered it. They butcher. I'm sitting there like, bro, you do that at a restaurant, they'll kick you out. Like you don't do that. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I assume
Yeah.
it's the same thing
Another thing
with
that
mate.
it is the same thing. Another thing that happens when you like give mate to a like person that is not used to drink it, they think that is kind of like you just like sip it and give it back, and it's like no, 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 you finish it. You gotta make the noise. That's the rule. You gotta make the noise that you
Oh.
don't have more water, and then you give it back. And if you ever come to Uruguay and you get offer mate, when you give it back, don't say thank you until you mean that you don't want it anymore. You just
Oh.
give it back and say nothing. If you say thank you when you give it back, I mean, it's not like this is gonna be talk right? But it's like understood. If you give it back while saying thank you, that means I don't want anymore.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm done for a
Okay.
while.
So if I ever pull up in Uruguay and I someone hands that over to me and I drink it and just for some reason, let's say I don't like it, I finish it, I hand it back, I say thank you on the first time I receive it. Is that still frowned upon?
Not really, because they're gonna understand that you don't want it anymore, but they're gonna be like, "You don't like math, then? Yeah, you're kind of a pussy."
What's wrong with you, bro? How do you not
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Yeah,
like?
you don't like this? Yeah, come on. I mean,
So what?
it's a very bitter taste. It's
I was
very
just
bitter.
about to ask that. What kind of different herbs can you put in there? Is this like just native to South America, or can you like mix it with tea? Like what is it?
Well, here in Uruguay, like the purest, the, as purist, I would say, because I'm a purist. Uh, we only use mate, like yerba mate, the herb that comes in a package, and just pour it into. A lot of people use like put lemon on it, or like lemon, like they cut like pieces of lemon and just put it into, or they put
Hmm.
different stuff. That's the people that we're gonna get exiled as soon as possible, because that's not that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. We just like the only correct way to drink it is just with the herb that comes in the package and nothing more. There's a lot of people that put different things into it, and to that I say like just drink tea if you are gonna do that. It's like
Yeah.
go drink tea.
I
Like
feel like this is a nice business opportunity because here in the West we don't know about that. Maybe I need to open up a mate shop, bro.
There's a
Make some
couple
money.
of famous football players that drink it because they played with Uruguayan players. For example, Griezmann. Griezmann is a big fan of Mate because he used to play, I think, with Godin in Atletico Madrid in Spain.
Oh, what a
So
player.
he now,
What a player. Godin
oh
is
yeah,
what a player. Jesus Christ.
Godin, I love him, and and yeah, there's a lot of places where like they don't drink mate, and I think that they should, especially like it helps a lot on winter because you just drink this all day and it keeps you warm all day. It also makes you pee a lot, which is also kind of good. And the only problem is in summer. Like this is uh we are what, few days away from getting like right into full summer here in Uruguay,
Hmm.
and like we're just gonna keep drinking all day.
Yeah. But like for example, in Turkey, during like we're a tea drinking country. Like we drink the most tea per population, per capita, whatever the fuck it's called. Like in
Yeah,
the
per
world.
capita.
We're the biggest tea
Like
consumers.
more than England.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're the biggest
Wow,
by
I
far.
didn't know that.
Yeah, like by far, if not like twice the amount of England and China, like a stupid amount of tea.
Oh my
And
god.
one of the things that we do, for example, in the summer is we drink tea. Like in the middle of the summer, we'll drink tea. And I never understood why we did that. I knew what it did to me. Like I felt refreshed. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I found out that if you drink something warm, it stops your body from heating up and digesting stuff. So it's kind of like helps you cool down. So for example, in the summer,
Oh, interesting.
when you drink something cold, because it's so like temperature difference is so big between the water that you ingest and your body that your body tries to heat it up so you end up being even more warm than you were before. So maybe you should drink more of
Interesting.
that in the summer.
So that's very interesting because apparently my mom knew that because whenever I was like out in the sun or whatever, when I was back home, she would offer me like room temperature water because like, she was like, don't drink like water from the fridge because you're gonna end up in the hospital. I don't think she knew why. It was just like a story,
Yeah.
but she forbid me to do that. So yeah, and this is so much of a cultural thing that um like my kid drinks. I told you this like the other day. My kid drinks it since he's like year and a half old because like I said before, like kids try to be like adults. So he watched me drink this. He wanted, I gave it to him. And my dad used to do the same. My dad taught me how to make it when I was 4.
Wow.
He would tell me how to make it like with like boiling water and stuff. My mom
Mhm.
was like, "What the fuck?" And my dad was like, "No, he needs to learn. If he wants to be a man, he needs to learn how to make mate." My dad was like that.
So
But
what
yeah,
we
this
do is
is
just cut off
this is what
the,
happened.
the tip of the dick. That's what we do. Then you're a man. In South America.
I don't know which one I like the best. Yeah. Oh my god.
So you
So yeah,
mentioned
we drink
you,
this
you
one.
mentioned the other day when we were talking about this like caffeinated. Like is it just like tea or like coffee or like Red Bull? Like I'm sipping on Red Bull right now. This is full of caffeine. I'm sure it's
Well,
not that
the
much, right?
not that much, but the original brand of this, it is like heavy caffeinated, and there's a thing where you like drink it in the morning instead of drinking coffee because
Hmm.
it has a very similar effect. I drink the decaffeinated version because I drink
Okay.
it all day, so I can even drink it before bed, and it doesn't
Hmm.
have that effect. But oh, there's also like I mentioned, um, there's people like put different things into it, but there's also different brands of the herb that come with different things, like with like lemon flavor, like different kinds of flavor. Usually they're from Argentina, and like we don't like that here in Uruguay. And usually, what most people drink here in Uruguay is like the original version or the decaffeinated version, which is the one that I like. This like the light version.
Hmm. So is this like so this came from the natives in South America,
I
right?
think, yeah, definitely, South America. I'm not sure exactly where. I think maybe Paraguay, Brazil, Uruguay,
Hmm.
Argentina. I think they had their own versions, kind of like at the same time, maybe, probably. But yeah, this is like 200 years old, maybe something like that.
So is this like a ritual to something religious or is this something like a passage? Like for example, I know that there are certain tribes in South America that really mess with like ayahuasca, for example, to put them in a certain altered state to see, their gods or their different dimensions, whatever they claim. Is this like something like that? Does it have like a different side to it where you have like hallucinogenics or like alcohol or whatever, or is this just a refreshing drink that you drink with like the herbs of trees and whatever?
No, no, it doesn't have any kind of like effects like that. Like the leprechaun that is by my side, I see him all the time. It's not because of the mate. No, for real. No, I have no idea. Like that's the honest answer. I have no idea like what the what the origins of this was, like, or why maybe it was a ritual religious thing.
Mhm.
It definitely lost its original like meaning long time ago. I would say
Mhm.
maybe like I don't know, more than 50 years ago. It just became this social thing that people drink, and most of us don't know what we are drinking it. It's just that thing that your parents made you start drinking when you were little, and that you have grown so accustomed to it that you just can't stop. I believe I have an addiction basically, but it's harmful, like harmless.
Yeah, but technically anything can be an addiction. Like it doesn't have to have a addicting substance
I
into
mean,
it. Like that.
I quit smoking, so like I'll stay with this.
Yeah, for sure. That's a way better alternative. Maybe I need to get
Yeah,
one of
for real.
those.
It's very it. I mean, the purposes of drinking it for me, it helps me start the day. Like instead of drinking coffee, even though it's the caffeinated, like it's a warm thing with a bitter flavor that just kind of wakes me up in the morning when I'm kind of sleepy. I use it as a kind of like digestive drink when I like maybe I eat too much and stuff and feel kind of bad, like an upset stomach. I start drinking this and instantly feel better. Whenever I'm sick, I drink this, and maybe it's like at this point maybe a little bit of a placebo effect at this point,
Hey,
but
whatever works,
I
man.
drink it to feel better a lot of times when I'm cold, when I'll feel like I said, like kind of sleepy, like an upset stomach or whatever. Uh, when I'm doing like maybe I'm doing diets with my wife to try and lose weight, and I am hungry, I drink this, and I instantly I'm not hungry anymore because like
I'm
the
very
effect.
interested in that. I'm seriously considering getting one and trying it out.
You should
It's
definitely.
yeah.
You can
I'm
get all the
always
stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those. You're gonna need to tell me how to write it and make sure to get the correct
Yes.
herbs and stuff. But I'm very interested. I'm always open for like new stuff, especially when it comes to like cultural things. Like I had never in my life seen or heard that stuff until last week or 2 weeks ago. I think the first time I saw was when I was in a call with you last time.
Right.
And I'm always interested in stuff like that. It's so cool
I
to
mean,
me.
it's a very local thing, so like most people haven't heard about this, especially from the like North Hemisphere. This friend that I told you that lives in Texas, the one that picked me on the airport, even before that, he kind of like was in the same place as you, like never heard about this, and watch me drink it on stream. He's like, you know what, I gotta try it, and he ordered all the stuff from Amazon, sent me pictures, and he liked it so much that he started drinking it every day, and just now he drinks it every day. And when I went to Texas for Worlds, I had a mate engraved with his name, and I sent him as a gift. I
That is really cool.
took it with me. Yeah.
That is really, really cool. So that straw that's in there, does it have a built-in filter or do you put the straw underneath a filter?
No, it has. Let me see if you can see it. It has a filter right there. It's just one
Oh,
piece of metal that at the bottom of it, it just has a filter. This is like tiny little holes where the water goes through, and doesn't let the herbs go through. Most of the
gotcha.
time, I will say. Sometimes a herb will go through, and you will feel it in your throat, in the back of your throat. It's like it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
goes
yeah.
in there.
So it's not powdery then what you put in there. It's pretty
Mhm.
chunky. It's pretty big.
It's pretty chunky, yeah. Especially when you put water, it's a little bit powdery when it's dry, but once you pour water on it, it's just like kind of swells
Hmm.
and stops. It gets super chunky. Yes.
Okay, so you don't get that like that weird like have you ever had like dusty tea, like really, really low quality tea, and on the bottom of the cup there's like a layer of like tea and you take the last sip and it's like very weird on your
You
tongue.
never get that with this. Yeah, I never get that with this.
Okay, good. Good. because I absolutely hate that. I cannot stand that. That's horrible to me.
Yeah, I'm not. I started drinking a little bit more tea after I stopped, after I quit smoking, because it, for some reason, it helped me, like with my like need to keep smoking. But I never wasn't like an avid tea drinker, like because I think because I have this, which is like a kind of a different version of tea, which is with only one flavor.
Hmm. Yeah, I love tea. I absolutely love tea. I just don't drink it. And the main reason I don't drink it is even though coffee should stain your teeth as much, tea really wrecks my teeth. And you know, I drink a lot of coffee. I smoke, unfortunately, so my teeth are already, hard to maintain white or discolored. When I drink
Right.
tea, bro, like if I drink tea 3 days in a row, the fourth day, nah, I look like Frankenstein's monster. It's ugly. It's off-putting. No, I just wait until I'm
Well, this
turkey.
kind of yellows your teeth a little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah, mine turn like really bright, like yellowish brown, and it looks very disgusting. Like I don't like it.
And another thing that this gives you, it's almost permanent green tongue. Like your tongue gets green because
Huh?
this is green. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. As long as you're not like taking out your tongue all the time.
Yeah, it's fine. What is that? What is that metal band called? Is that a metal band? The guy with the real long tongue and he's
Wait,
got like white and black makeup. What's that guy called?
Kiss.
I think it's kids are like
The four guy, yeah,
const.
the four guys
Yeah,
painted
yeah, yeah,
white,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, black and white, yeah, Kiss.
Yeah, I'm not him, so I'll be fine. No, no worries.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know, Gene something. Gene Simons, I think it is. He has a super long tongue.
Yeah, one of the guys has a really long tongue, and
I
it's
think Gene something is the name. Yeah, I don't like his really. I don't like that man.
so you going to San Diego?
I am not, because the next month we are going. The whole family is going to Disney, and we already had that
Ooh,
trip planned. And yeah, there's not budget for both of it, those trips.
which
Uh,
which
I
which
am going definitely
Disney?
to Florida.
Oh, damn. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
So I've never been there, and my son hasn't, obviously. But my wife has been there a few times, so she's gonna kind of like show us around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not going to San Diego. I really wanted to, but it's like too close to that Disney trip, and I'm saving myself for Worlds. Whatever it is, I'm going to Worlds, like USA,
I
Europe.
hope
I
it's
don't care.
close. I hope it's close to me. I kind of want to go to, and especially like if you're going, I really want to meet you. I want to hang out with you.
This time, I made, like last time when I was in Dallas, I made promise to myself that I was gonna go to every single Worlds from now on, whatever it is, because I can take the liberty to like do a one Rocket League trip per year. Maybe in the future I will go to like more lands if I can, but for now, because there's like 1 year difference between them, I will definitely go to Worlds, whatever it is.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting.
I hope it's
Um,
in Europe because that will give me the opportunity to finally like meet some places there. I've never been in Europe.
yeah, I kind of hope that I'll get the financial situation to go to the RLCS or any other event in America or in South America because I've got a good chunk of the people that follow me around are from NA, a surprisingly
Right.
large amount. So I'm not gonna lie. I had a certain prejudice against Americans or North Americans because of the media and stuff, and I was,
I know Americans that have prejudice against Americans.
I was, I was so surprised when I started to meet Americans or North Americans in general, how nice they were, how not dumb they are. Like they're always no, but like let's keep it real. Like it's always the dumb American, the dumb
I don't know
American
this
with a
man.
gun, no healthcare, whatever. And you start talking to these people, you actually start to get to
Yeah,
know them, and you're like,
that's stereotypes for you. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I hate it. It's like, bro, you made me believe that the entire continent of North America was filled with hillbilly idiots. And now I'm meeting these people and almost all of them are smarter than me, more cultured than me. They know my culture better than me. Like they're educated, they're smart, they're kind, they're helpful, they're nice, and it's like it's the complete opposite. So I really want to go to America. I'm very curious. Um, I've always been curious about,
to
like, for
see if
example,
you can
New.
find any dumb one. Finally.
No, 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 no. Just to meet the people, just to talk to them. I'm a foodie. I want to try out their food. I've always been curious about California, Texas, New York, Chicago. Those big cities. You always see them in the movies, but I wanna be there. I want to see how it is because
Oh yeah.
I've got a lot of people from the East Coast in the around me, and they're like, bro, like you are like the spitting image of someone who's from New York, like New York, New Jersey, like if you lived in America and someone was were to guess where you're from, New Jersey, New America, like you got that written all over your face. So I'm just very curious. I want to see what it's like.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and also their food, man. Like, have you seen their pizzas? Their deep dish pizzas, the fried chicken, they got so much Tex-Mex in South.
I've tasted. Well, my first time in America was in Dallas, so uh, I've been told that's probably not the best place for the first time for some reason. Because especially because the experience in Texas is like one of the like unofficial mottos of Texas is everything is bigger in Texas.
Yeah,
So that applies to the food, which means that I just ate straight shit for 4 days in a row. And when I say shit, I don't mean bad tasting food. I mean amazingly tasting food that my heart won't be able to like take up if keep doing that like long time. Like I felt the grease like going through my veins while I was eating that, which
damn.
was like it was delicious, but it's not a diet that you want for like long time. They
Have you ever been to the United Kingdom?
no 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 no
I had
I
a
have not.
similar experience there. Look, I'm from Turkey. We love food. We eat a lot. But I grew up in the Netherlands, and the dudes over here, they're not savages. They're pretty discreet. I went to the UK twice. Once with my mom, just to travel around, and I met a longtime friend over the internet. Second time, I went to said longtime friend's wedding. And when we were staying there, I was with my fiance, and we were like, "Hey, listen, like last time I didn't really get to experience the British cuisine that much, or like the food that you guys eat, like fish and chips and stuff. Can you take me to a fish and place? It's nothing interesting. I want to see it. I want to taste it. I want to know what it's like." We ordered a regular portion. Oh my god! If the British call that a regular portion and they moan about the American portions, I want to know what the Americans serve. Like,
The American portions are extremely large.
and on top
Yes,
of that, like you were saying, the Texas portion. Like, how big
it's
were their food, like
bigger.
the plates?
Well, a lot of the stuff that we got when we were out having food was like for like group size stuff, and most of it we couldn't finish it. And I was
Oh,
like with three people that live there that are used to those sizes, and there was still a lot. But one thing that surprised me, I remember, it's something that is called bacon and bits that I didn't know that existed. And I discovered that it is the part of the bacon that here in Uruguay we throw away because it's too
oh,
unhealthy to eat for
oh.
us.
Okay.
In Texas, instead of throwing it away, they dip it like uh, they fried it. They fried it, and they like put some condiments on it or whatever, and they serve it to you in a plate for like $20 or something, and
Okay.
it's freaking delicious. But you can feel your mouth gets like all greasy, and it's like
Ugh. Ugh.
when you finish eating, but while you're in it is freaking amazing because it's kind of like sweet barbecue kind of flavor
Mhm.
with bacon, like all that like bacon wrapped, and it's amazing, but it's very very unhealthy. And of course, there is healthy food in Texas. I just like because I was there, I was like, okay, give me like surprise
Give me
me,
the Texas experience. Yeah.
yeah, give me the Texas experience. I actually one of the breakfasts that I had in one of the restaurants, it was called like a Texan breakfast, and it was like eggs and like I think it was mashed potatoes and some kind of beans that I didn't like or whatever. But it was like a huge plate, which like different kinds of stuff, and we don't have the uh, those we don't have that stuff here. Actually, we have in certain hotels here, they serve what is called an American breakfast because it's so different of our regular breakfast. Like our breakfast usually just like mate and like bread with dulce de leche on it, which is something that you like that doesn't exist in America.
I've heard of it, but I can't put my finger on it. What's that dulce what?
Dulce de leche. It is basically, you could call it like milk jelly, if you will.
Okay.
It is milk and sugar. You put that like in a pan or whatever, and you heat it up as you stir it until it gets all like creamy, basically,
Oh,
like creamy
okay.
consistency. And it's basically that. It's basically milk and sugar, like in its rawest form. They sell it like already done with a lot of like conservants and stuff in the supermarket. But you can like do it yourself at home. It's just make the sugar, you stir it up until it gets all creamy, and then you just like put it over bread.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What did you run into any culture shocks when you were in Texas? Because Texans are a little bit different, man. I got a couple of Texans in my community, and they different. I like it, but they different.
I mean, not really. Everyone was like super nice to me. I had a hard time understanding most of the like staff in the places that we went to because of the like the Texan accent. They were like speak super fast with a heavy Texan accent, and I would tell them like can you like, I'm foreign, like English is my second language. I will need you to like please slow down a little bit. And they were like super nice about it. They was like, "Oh yeah, sweetie." They were like
I
really
never
really nice.
thought I'd
Yeah,
hear you try to put up a Texan accent, bro.
yeah, that's the last time I'm ever gonna do it. But yeah, that's something that really also surprised me. Like a lot of the like 40 plus ladies that were like serving coffee or whatever, they all call me sweetie, and they were calling everyone sweetie. I think this just like they're being very nice. But that
Mhm.
was like I was expecting that. Like what do you want, sweetie? I was like, oh,
Like, oh
yeah,
shit, you want my
that's it.
number?
Yeah. Yeah, not in that, not of course, not that way. But I was like, I was very pleased. But I definitely had a hard time understanding English in a lot of places. That doesn't happen to me online.
Hmm. Hmm. Like I've never been to South America or North America. I've never left the continent of well, okay. I've been to Asia because technically I'm Asian, right? But I haven't left the continent of Europe. But I'm always very interested. The trouble is, first of all, obviously the money. It's very expensive to travel to other parts of the country, the world. Like for
Oh
example, I'm interested in
yes,
Japan. I want to see certain parts of China.
and you're
Up,
kind of near there. I had
yeah,
to my plane ticket. We were both gonna go to Worlds with my wife. The thing that happened was that we requested the visa to go to the United States, and because of like remnants of like COVID thing, there were like a bunch of delays to get visa. So we ended up getting the visa a month before the actual date of when Worlds was. So I didn't want to buy a ticket, like buy the plane tickets until I had the visa, because
of
otherwise I would
course.
have to like just waste money. But since I bought the tickets so close to the date, they were super expensive, like more than usual.
Yeah.
So when we got to the price, I was like, yeah, we're not gonna make it both. I'm gonna have to go alone. And I didn't want to go alone. She actually insisted, like, no, this is the first. You already told everyone that you were gonna go. This is the first Worlds after COVID, so yeah, you gotta be there. So she was super nice. She like was with the kid home alone for like a week, and my plane ticket to go there and back was over $2,000.
What?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah,
Two big ones.
it is a 14-hour flight with like counting stops and everything.
Bro, that is nuts. How does it work with the visa? Because they ask a bunch of shit. And I've heard that it's pretty hard to get a visa to America. Like, how does that work?
Well, it wasn't that hard to me, really. I filled out the online form, and they asked a bunch of stuff. I even had to include my like the reason what I was trying. The funniest part of that, like, it wasn't hard at all. The only like quote unquote hard part, which was kind of more a little bit embarrassing slash funny than hard, was getting to the visa place, to like the embassy, and like reason to travel. I had to explain what Rocket League was to the lady. I was like, I'm going to like online event of a game that's called Rocket League, and she actually kind of like heard about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's like the card soccer thing, right? Like my kid plays it." I was like, "Yeah, that's the one." Like, so yeah, I'm a YouTuber, and I'm going there. This is the like because they were a little bit of like because I didn't have, I was not I officially paying for my stay. So I stayed with Woody,
Hmm.
the demo guy, and Hoodie Who, the streamer. And I stayed in an Airbnb house with them, but like my name was not on the paperwork because like Woody
Oh,
paid for the stuff, and I just gave the money to Woody for my share.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm staying with a friend. I have all the data, and it was really like really easy. But I like I would like overkill a bunch, like I brought a lot of papers and stuff, like explaining what Rocket League was, and I was a streamer, a YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. But it was actually kind of easy. It's a very like case by case thing here. If you're good to go, they don't make you have any trouble really.
How long does it take to process the visa, for example? Like, let's say I applied today. When would I get an answer? Like, when did you get an answer?
In my case, we apply. I actually applied like a month after the Los Angeles land in 2021, and that was in like March, I think, April, something like that. So I think I started the process around May, and I actually got a date in July.
Okay, so 2 months.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, okay.
But I
Damn.
think it's different depending on the country.
Is there like a sort of like is there also like a way for like let's say you were gonna stay with friends or stay at friends. Let's say I want to go there. Do your friend, for example, can they vouch for you? Can they turn around, call the embassy, be like, yo, listen, he's gonna be with me. This is my information. Does that matter at all, or is it just solely you and no one else?
I'm not sure. I brought the information anyway. Didn't They didn't really ask for it.
Hmm.
Um, what I think what they're more interested about, at least in my experience, is the ties that you have in your home country. They want to make sure that you have enough reasons to go back. They want to make sure that you're not going to stay
Hmm.
in the US.
Yeah, yeah,
So they asked me about like where I lived, like what kind of like contract I had with like the apartment, about my job, like how where was I working, how many years was I working that place, about my wife's job, like how long we were married, if we had kids, where my kid go to school, how long, like what he does after school, stuff like that. They want to make sure that you have enough like roots in your home place that you're gonna go back.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's gonna make it a little bit tough for me then, because like on paper, I barely exist in the Netherlands, and hmm, does it cost money to ask for a visa? Because I might just do it to see if I can get it.
Oh yes, you have to pay before you know if you're gonna get it. Definitely.
How much is a visa?
It was like $150 for us
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, never mind.
just to like get the interview.
Okay. Hmm, that's interesting. Nah, I don't think it'll gonna be a problem for me if I ever want to go to the US. I don't think they're gonna make a big deal out of it. Is it true that they ask like you do like this checkbox and they literally ask if you're a terrorist? Is that real?
Yes, yes, yes. They also ask you if you plan on like um uh incur in setting up a like prostitution business, something like that. Like I don't remember the exact wording, but they're basically asking you Are you coming to US to like kidnap women and sell them to like people
How did
out
you
the US?
know?
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yes. Are you gonna make my life easier that way? Thank you.
Oh, America is the land of the greats.
The American dream. So yeah,
Yeah.
they ask you a bunch of stuff. That is it's just like 5 pages of like no, 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 no. Yeah.
And they put in
Yeah.
like a trick question there, like, are you a good person? And you go, nope, 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 nope.
I haven't seen that. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. But they definitely ask you like, are you a criminal? Have you like are you a terrorist? Have you like been associated with terrorists? Like almost every question is, are you this like this kind of category of crime? And the
Mhm.
next question is, okay, if you didn't, have you been associated with something that did it?
Oh.
So that's kind of the way it goes. But yeah, this just gotta say no to uh, all of them or most of them, I guess, depending on kind of person you are.
When you take those long flights, like for example, you said that you had a 14-hour flight.
Well,
I
14
as
hour total. I had three different flights.
Oh damn. Okay,
Yes,
so
it
you
was
started in Uruguay and then.
Montevideo. Yeah, Montevideo, which is Uruguay's capital,
Hmm.
to Panama,
Hmm.
Panama to Austin, and then Austin to Dallas. And that one was hilarious because it was cheaper. That's why I had to do it that way
Oh,
because
okay.
I had one that was directly from Panama to like Dallas, but the problem is because there's not that many people that want to go from Panama to Dallas directly because Dallas is not a like Austin is a much more like popular flight destination than Dallas. It was the ticket to directly from Panama to Dallas. It was like $1,000 more.
Oh wow, that's a big difference.
Yes, yes, and the flight from Austin to Dallas is like an hour.
Okay.
And so I went from Panama to Austin. I waited in Austin for 3 hours, and it took an hour flight to Dallas.
Damn, bro. That's
Yeah,
what
that was
happened
funny.
to me when I went to the UK. Because the only reason, for example, I live on the coast. I live in The Hague. I live on the west coast of the Netherlands, like the furthest most, and I live like 10 minutes from the beach. The only reason I can't see England is because of the curvature of the Earth. If the Earth was flat, as some fucking momos think it is,
What do
I
you mean?
could
The Earth
literally
is
see
flat.
England. So I had to travel 1 hour up to Amsterdam, wait for 2 hours, 3 hours because it was during COVID time. I had to wait for 3 hours, get on a
Oh my god.
flight. The flight took 45 minutes. Like we barely made it to the top altitude and we just like started diving again. You know what? Well, landing,
Oh
not
my
diving.
god. Yeah, yeah,
And we land. I'm sitting there like, bro, it took me longer to go to Amsterdam than to sit in this airplane. It's like so funny sometimes.
well, on my flight back from Dallas, the last leg of the flight, Panama to Montevideo, I was sleeping, and then like there's the announcement that we're about to land, and I was like, this was a shorter flight. What just happened? Like,
Where am
when I went,
I?
and like a couple minutes later, they're like, yeah, we're landing in Paraguay right now because we have a passenger that just like basically um um I don't
Died.
know. What do you? No, he didn't die. Um, fade out. It's not fade out. The expression I'm
Unconscious.
looking for. Like it went unconscious. Like
Okay.
passed out. That's
Passed
the
out.
word.
Okay.
Passed out. Fade out. It's like an animation. Basically passed out. Like an old. And when they explained it, I knew who he was because when I was entering the flight, the aircraft, I saw an old person, an old guy with like a tube of oxygen strapped to his face.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, and apparently that guy passed out, and we had to like emergency land in Paraguay so they could take him to the hospital, and we waited without being able to like get up our seats for like 2 hours in
Yeah.
the airport. They refueled, and then we just went to Uruguay. But the guy had to stay in Paraguay at the hospital. It was terrible.
Poor guy, man.
Yeah,
Poor
poor
guy.
guy.
Did you hear anything about him afterwards? Is he okay?
I have no idea, Turk. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
I have. It's not that I it's not that I give a poor guy, but I have no way of knowing. Like I
Yeah.
can
Okay. Fair
give
enough. You
any
can
kind
just
of update.
call
I
the
should
airport.
ask for like Twitter handle or something to see if he posts an update. I have no idea.
Yeah, because on those airplanes where you like make like a emergency landing somewhere in a different country or different state or whatever, well not state, but most likely different country, you can't exit the airplane because that's against international law. Because that
Exactly.
country doesn't know that all those people are coming in, and when you step out, it breaches
Yeah, we're
international law.
basically illegal immigrants if we do that.
Technically, yes, yeah,
Technically, yes. Yeah, which is kind of fucked up if you ask me.
yeah.
It would have been
I
nice to being able to like get up to my seat.
I had a connecting flight once in my life, and I don't remember when or why I had a connecting flight. Never again. Never again. It was the worst experience in my life, and it was the most boring thing
Yeah,
ever.
a connecting flight. You mean that you had more than one flight to the destination?
Yeah, so for example, I was going to Turkey, and then for some reason there were no tickets for like a direct flight from Amsterdam to Turkey, and we had to land in
Mm.
stop in Bulgaria, I think it was, or Romania, either or. I think it was Bulgaria, and I had to wait a couple hours to the next airplane. And I promised to myself that I'm willing to pay double to not have a connecting
What
flight.
happened?
I don't know what happened, but there was just no like. Oh, you mean at the airport?
Yeah, why do you hate connecting flights?
I can't sit still. Like you have no idea how much is going through my head right now because I haven't stood up or walked. Like I have trouble sitting still. I can't. That's why I hate flights. That's what I was going to tell you. Like I want to go to Japan. I
Oh,
want to go to North
okay.
America, South America, but 14 hours in a tube filled with farts, like it drives me insane. Like you have no
The
idea. Like when I'm
longest
going,
flight
if
that
I,
was from Montevideo to Panama was 10 hours in
yeah,
the air.
dog, listen, if you're going to put me in a fucking airplane for 10 hours, you're going to give me edibles, heroin, or cocaine. Something to get me out of this world, knock out. Like I don't care what you do, bring a big hammer, whatever the fuck. But there is no way I can sit still for 10 hours. It's not gonna
Well,
happen.
we went in uh, early 2020 when the Los Angeles land happened. I was gonna go, but didn't get the visa on time. So we with my wife we decided to go vacation in Mexico for 2 weeks with my kid, and we decided okay we're gonna do it right this time. We're gonna like spend some extra money, and we got the first class tickets, like the executive class,
Hmm.
and it is like it's a whole other world. Like
Yeah.
I kind of hate flying too because kind of the same reason. But that you just you make your bed, you go to sleep, and
Yeah.
like if you fly at night, and you don't feel like you're on a plane basically.
Yeah, look, I don't have trouble with that. That I can bear with. But if I have to
Yes,
sit
yes,
in an airplane like this, like the flight to Turkey is 3 hours, 3 hours 15 minutes. If there's like
only
a
three
weird,
hours. Damn.
exactly, only 3 hours, exactly. But you have to sit like this, and there's some smelly Turkish guy next to you, and all he does is like he leans to the side every once in a while, farts in your direction, and you gotta sit there and breathe
Oh
it in,
shit.
and then you're just like this. And I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not the biggest dude, but I'm 6 feet tall. And those airplanes are
Okay.
tiny, bro. They're really small. So you just sit there.
Wait, how's that in real math? How much is
Six
that in
feet,
real math?
1 meters 83.
Okay, thank you.
Like I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm also not the shortest guy. So I'm already cramped up there, and it's like, not gonna happen. But on those long flights, right? Even if you don't have first class, I heard the seats are pretty big as well.
Yes, yes. On the flights that are super long, they have big seats because you definitely need a little bit more room.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
I,
a bit more comfortable than the short flights. But I'm surprised that you're saying like I will never like take like have another like connecting flight in my life. It's like I basically have no other option if I want to go
yeah,
like
like
outside my zone here. Because
don't,
if I want to
don't
go, there's no direct flights to like
they
America or
say
Europe.
never, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
right now,
of
I'm like,
course,
I'm
of
never
course.
gonna get in a connecting flight. Fuck that
Yeah.
shit. Watch me in 2 months when I have to go to like San Diego or something. I'm gonna sit there in a connecting flight like an asshole. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you're gonna have to do it. Yeah, definitely.
hey, yo, Frowzy, I got a wedding, bro. Let's wrap it up. Is
Yeah,
there
sure.
anything that you want to mention? Any videos coming out soon? Any place that you're gonna go to? Whatever.
No, not really. Right now, I am. I think the biggest thing coming up right now is my 1 year anniversary is coming up, and I'm planning a big thing for the 26th. Actually, the exact day is the 27th, but I'm working that day because I still have a full time job. But on 26th, I think that I'm gonna be free of work, And I have a new intro coming up, which I'm recording it at the beach this time, and a new starting screen that I made. I hire a professional animator to animate myself on my role. I'm gonna send it to you later. It's pretty cool. And yeah, I have this big thing coming up for the one university. It's gonna be super cool, and I'm really looking forward to this next year of streaming and YouTubing. I think it's gonna be better than this one. Yeah, I'm just like keep the grind going. I don't have any. I said this on Twitter. I think yesterday. I really don't have any specific goals. I believe that uh, consistency is the only way to do it. Just like wake up every day and try to do
Yeah,
your best,
for
go to
sure.
sleep, and repeat.
Yeah, for sure. This is what we'll do. We'll just put all your handles and all your information in like the information box. Feel free to shout them out right now. Give the people something to look for.
This is the easiest part because I am FrowzySquirrel on every single platform, and this is why I tell people on stream every time they ask me what advice you have for content creators. If you're a content creator, your name isn't the same on every single platform, you're content creating wrong.
Yeah,
So I
like
am
branding is
FrowzySquirrel
very
everywhere.
important. Most people
Yeah,
don't realize
exactly.
that.
Exactly. That's you Google fastest curl is it's gonna come up my TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and whatnot. I don't know, whatever, Facebook, Kick. Like I have the same name everywhere.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for being a guest, Frowsy or Daniel. Let me keep it normal. None of that
That is true.
weird internet stuff. Daniel,
Actually, nobody calls me Daniel really. I mean, first nobody calls me Daniel
Danny,
because Danny. But nobody calls me Daniel, even the people that wants to call me Daniel, because that's now how we pronounce it here.
Daniel. My bad.
There we go. I like
I
it better.
know, bro. I know
You
Daniel.
know, I know
Daniel.
you know. I know you know some Spanish. Yeah, I know you know some Spanish. For sure, you know Señor Pavo. That you're not gonna.
Senor Pavo, that's become a classic, bro. For people that don't know, get to his channel and look for that video. You're gonna see some familiar faces in there. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good day. My name is Turk. That was Daniel, also known as Frowzy. Take care. Thanks for everything, guys. Peace.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.